A 10% annual payout in retirement income is doable. In this episode, I'm going to address the question, how long will my investments last in retirement? Now, you wouldn't believe how many times I've been asked that question. And of course, it's a function of where is your money invested? If it's in a mattress, not very long. If it's in a bank, not much better. If it's in the market, I don't know what the market's going to do. So I'm going to teach you how to create predictable rates of return and be able to know exactly how long it will last, as long as you do. Are you ready? So I'm Doug Andrew, and I've been a financial strategist and help people plan for retirements where they don't outlive their money now for north of 46 years. My favorite vehicle by far is the tax-free bucket, I call it. I really believe that people should have from 40 to 60% of their retirement income in that bucket. Most people don't even know what's in that bucket. Maybe they think a Roth would fit in there, or municipal bonds. They're shocked when I tell them where I have 60% or more of my retirement money, what bucket generates predictable income that will last as long as I do. But when people ask the question, how long will my investments last? I need to know more information, right? Where is your money invested? It's pretty pathetic how many people have a lot of money in very low yielding accounts, maybe with banks or credit unions earning 1 or 2%. It's not going to last very long in there unless you have so much money that 1% interest will cover your cost of living needs and cover you if inflation doubles the cost of living every 7 to 10 years, which it will likely do. When people say, golly, how long will my retirement accounts give me income? It's based upon the rate of return and also what strategies are you using to have inflation work for you instead of against you? And how are you protecting yourself from market volatility? Because most people who came to me at retirement, which is totally different than for retirement planning, they were way too top heavy in the investment bucket where they had money in yet to be taxed, IRAs and 401ks in the market. And I would go, what are you thinking? You should not have your money in the market due to that volatility. A broker-dealer will not allow their advisors, their asset managers, to show predictable income out of a portfolio of money in mutual funds in the market, usually at best a 4% payout. Pretty pathetic that every million, they will only recommend you take out $40,000 a year, 4%. And that's not tax-free. In most situations, it's a tax-deferred IRA or 401k. You're not netting 40, you're only netting maybe 27,000 to 30,000 in most people's tax brackets. And they charge you 1% on the million. If you subtracted the fee from that, you're only netting maybe 2%. That's pretty pathetic. That's like having your money in a bank earning 1 or 2%, and I would not recommend that. I have shown people how to predictably earn between 7 to 10% average, meaning some years I've earned 16%, 25%. There was one year I earned 55%, another year 41 point something. Yeah, there are the real banner years, but when I made money in those years, if the next year or two the market went down, I didn't lose the 55% I made the year before. See, most people, if they have a banner year where they make money, they lose it in future years when the market corrects or comes down. What I like to do is lock in my gains anytime I make money so I don't ever lose in the future the money I made in the past. And that's called lock-in and reset, which is the subject of another educational video on this channel if you search that. But I want you to understand that there is what I call a tax and inflation power curve that erodes away most people's retirement nest eggs sooner than later. Let me explain that for you. So when people say, how long will my investments last? Well, I don't know enough. If it's in the market, usually Dalbar, who studies market behavior, says that you should assume no more than about 3.49% because people buy and sell at the wrong times. If they bought and held, they might earn 9 and net 6. Most people, they only earn about 3.5%, and that's why the financial services industry has that 4% rule, is what they call it. You're only supposed to take out 4% a year because they don't want to be sued for you outliving your money. Well, I have been earning 7 to 10%. Where? Well, I want to make sure that whatever strategy I use, wherever I want my serious cash, I want it to eliminate 3 big dangers. Now, these 3 dangers that erode away most people's money or cause them to outlive their money before they run out of money before they do. Taxes. The negative impact of taxes, because they didn't realize that if they pull out, let's say, $90,000 a year. Let's say they have $1 million nest egg and they say, oh, no, I've been earning 9%. 9% would be 90,000. They pull out 90,000, they're only netting 60,000 because a third of it goes out the window in taxes. And they're only netting 60. Well, they may say, if we tighten our belt, 60,000 a year, 5,000 a month, we think we can make it. And then they forget about inflation. Well, inflation has been averaging almost 10%. People say, no, that's not what I've heard. Well, that's because the government changes the way they report inflation. See, they now have the right to say, we will compare the cost of beef from one year to next, but we choose if we want to compare filet mignon, we can change it to comparing it to hamburger the next year instead of filet mignon to filet mignon. You go, really? Yep. Medical costs, healthcare costs, they're through the roof. So the actual cost of living is different than the annual inflation rate that sometimes the government throws out there in a number of 3 or 4 or 5%. No, some costs are going up 10, 15, and 20%. You cannot be rowing upstream at the rate of 1, 2, or 3, 3.5 miles an hour, and the current of inflation is coming down at 6, 7, or 8. You're going backwards. So you need to earn a rate of return that's equal to or greater than the inflation rate. So what I've always done is linked my returns to inflation, to the things that inflate. So inflation, which I don't like any more than you probably do, but it doesn't hurt me, it helps me. If inflation goes to 5, I've usually earned at least 10 or more. If inflation is 10, I earn 15. If it goes to 20, I earn 25, because I link my returns to the things that inflate by using indexing. You wouldn't believe how many financial advisors have no clue how to do that. They think I'm talking about indexed funds. No, indexed funds means your money's at risk in the market, and when the market goes down, you lose. Indexing, my money's not in the market. I get credits when the market goes up, but when the market goes down, I don't lose because my money is not in the market. And so this is what has given me the average returns of 7 to 10% tax-free, even though some years I've earned 16 and 25 and 55% by using multipliers, which we teach about in other educational videos. Here's the key. Are you wanting your money in a tax-deferred, in other words, yet to be taxed account the rest of your life? You want to eliminate taxes. You want to get the taxes over and done with and convert to tax-free. You want to have inflation work for you instead of against you. And then number 3, you want to protect yourself from market volatility. That's why I use indexing. So when the market goes down, I don't lose. When the market goes up, I make money. And so generally in a 10-year period, in any 10-year period since the Great Depression, there will be 7 up years compared to 3 down years. In the decade, the worst decade since the Great Depression, 2000 to 2010, even going to 2012, there were 5 down years compared to 5 up years. And I averaged 7.23% in that worst decade using indexing. By adding a second strategy that we teach on this channel, rebalancing, I was able to increase my return to 10.07% in the worst decade, and I've been earning an average of 10% net cash on cash, tax-free for the last 27 plus years. The key message here is that you want to create a strategy so that your investments will last as long as you do. that if inflation doubles the cost of living every 7 to 10 years, your income will stay with that. You will be able to have the same purchasing power. You'll be tax-free instead of having to pay tax forever on your IRA 401k distributions. And you want to protect yourself from market volatility. So eliminate the dangers of taxes, inflation, and market volatility. How do you do that? Would you like to learn? This is why I am so passionate about education, because you can't be aware of something you're not aware of. You don't know what you don't know. So this is why I've written 11 books. This book is 300 pages and you'll be blown away. It's actually 2 books in one. See, you flip it over and you got this side. This is 14 chapters with all kinds of charts and graphs and explanations about one of my favorite vehicles, a max-funded indexed universal life insurance contract, where I have averaged in excess of 10% internal rates of return, cash on cash, after all fees and costs for the last 27 years. And most people, most financial advisors don't have a clue how to do this. So I wrote my 11th book and I call it The Laser Fund because it eliminates those 3 dangers, taxes, inflation, and market volatility. And it shows you how to convert to tax-free, have inflation work for you instead of against you, and eliminate the dangers of market volatility. And your money is liquid, safe, and earns predictable rates of return. It's liquid assets, safely earning returns, which spells the acronym LASER. So I call it the Laser Fund. Now, if you like to learn by stories, you flip the book over. This is 12 chapters on this side with 62 actual client stories of how this is used not only for retirement, but emergency funds, college funding, real estate management, working capital for business, estate planning, on and on and on. If you want to use your whole brain, your left brain and your right brain, read the whole book. But I'll pay for the book. I'll buy the book. You claim your free copy by going to laserfund.com, laserfund.com. You simply pay $5.95 shipping and handling. I'll fire out a free copy to you, and there's options there to get the audio and video if you like to listen and learn and watch and learn. But it all begins with you empowering yourself. It's time you took ownership for your own retirement so you don't outlive your money.